Welcome back to another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast. Today we have Coach Jason Phillips, an assistant coach at Alcorn State University. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
I appreciate you coming on, Coach. But for maybe our guests who maybe not have heard of you or not had a chance to catch any of your stuff, how did you end up at Alcorn?
Yeah, first I got to tell you, man, because some of our fans are going to watch it. It's Alcorn. You got to say it right because they'll get on your butt pretty quickly.
All right.
I made that mistake for about the first week, and they got me right. It's always Almighty Alcorn. All right. I'm originally from East Tennessee, Maryville, Tennessee. Born and raised, grew up there, and have kind of started out coaching high school football there at East Tennessee for 4 or 5 years or so. Got my first start in college at Tusculum College. That's where I ended up graduating from as well. And kind of did one more year back in high school and then kind of took off. And I did a year up in Indiana at St. Joseph's College. It's kind of the last suburb before you get to Chicago. Then that's the next year started my Mississippi trek. I was the offensive coordinator at Southwest Mississippi Community College. Did a year at Troy. Came back, was offensive coordinator at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, and have been here now 2 seasons, 1 Corona year, and going into year 4.
Okay.
So I guess this coming up year will be 19th year in coaching.
Okay. And for coaches interested more in stuff, Coach has not only a clinic with Coach Bronk, a friend of our channel, who's also been on this podcast by the time this airs. And he also has some Coach Tube stuff, which will all be in the bio as well if any of you want to check that out. But today we're going to kind of talk about their deep choice stuff. And kind of like what I told him when he messaged me initially, we were going back and forth with some ideas to talk about. And I don't know, I hear choice, I think the old run and shoot concept. That's my natural, just because that's how I raise. I hear choice, I hear that. So for you guys, the Baylor choice concept, the more Art Briles style, what is that kind of for you guys, and what you run?
Yeah, I think it's just like anything else. It is a little bit of run and shoot. It's a little bit of the Baylor stuff. It's kind of us stealing things and making it our own. I think when you first saw Baylor come out and run deep choice, you see one guy take off running deep, and the guys on the other side of the field just standing there hanging out. Ours is off of that same line of thinking, but our head coach is not going to let me just have 2 or 3 guys just over there standing in the field. So we loved the idea of it, the concept of it. So we took it and made it to where he would say, okay, yeah, let's do this, first of all. So we kind of packaged it a little bit differently. A lot of times we're going to go out there and we'll go through some clips here in a minute. And for a lot of people, they'll just look at it as, it's just 4 birds. In times, it can just look just like 4 birds. But the theory of it is just making sure you give guys enough rules to where you have some functionality to it, but to always be getting one-on-ones. And that's what we want. Our guy one-on-one with the ability to break wherever they're not. It really, once it's taken off with us, it allows us to kind of streamline who we recruit at receiver. I don't need guys with the greatest of hips. I can take a stiffer guy that can fly. I can take that bigger guy that can't get it out of his breaks for curls and digs and things like that, or has some trouble of it. But he can run and he can win a vertical ball. So I can take that guy as opposed to someone else. So we kind of streamlined it, like I said, to fit us. We're an 11 personnel, want to be 11 personnel most of the time football team. And this is kind of it's a way for us to, when all else fails, gap everything up, throw the ball vertical, and not have to carry 1,000 different variations, because the whole concept is one variation. So, but that's, we put it in, I guess, the spring of, spring of 19 now, and have just been kind of rolling with it and tinkering with it. And it's like something, everything else, you're going to get better at it the more you do it. So,
yeah. Now, you mentioned there, obviously, you don't necessarily need the kid with the great hips to run this. It's more about the speed vertical aspect to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Does it help at all if you have that kid that can break well, or again, is the speed the primary thing with it?
Of course, and here's what I would say is, like, if you got the guy that's got really, really good hips, you're never gonna hate having that guy. It obviously is going to make it more beneficial for some things, but it's not a necessity. Like we don't necessarily have to be the best route runner in the world to be a high level impact guy in our deal. And the better you are with your hips and athletically and things like that, obviously the more successful you're going to be as we get some different aspects of the whole thing. But I would say probably better phrase would be, I can get you on the field quicker without necessarily having to develop all these things that everyone else has got to have. Just through getting through our hips and breaks and things like that. If I'm breaking when I'm running a curl when I'm supposed to be running a curl, or I'm running a dig when I'm supposed to be running a dig in these conversions, I've already got him beat by alignment a lot of times, so I don't necessarily have to be the most fluid to be good at it.
Now, from an expensive standpoint, how would you classify this in terms of an expense or teaching or is it just heavy teaching? From a teaching standpoint, how are you viewing this and your kids?
Yeah, this is. You have to do this a lot. I won't lie to you and say that it's easy. You just throw it in there and they roll. Now you gotta teach this a lot, and you gotta screw it up a lot, and that's a big thing that we talk about. Is I can go draw it on the board. We can show you clips of it, can walk you through it, all those things. But in reality, you have to go mess it up.
Yeah.
Full speed running, doing your deal, you got to go mess it up, or you'll never get very good at it. As we go through install, I'll draw this on the board one time for each, concept that we have inside of this package, and that's it. This isn't one that you're going to get good at by me drawing X's and O's. We got to go out and do it. So we'll do a lot more walkthroughs with this. And our walkthroughs got to be a little bit more intensive as well. So we've always got to have a look out there. One thing as far as practicing it and installing is, a lot of 3/2 or half line scale work for us. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the best look or the best, even the most accurate look to what you're about to play. You just got to have something where decisions being made on the fly. So I think that's kind of our best way that we go about getting it in. Is it expensive? Yeah, we don't do a whole lot else. We do this and a couple other drop back pass concepts. But once we get good at this, it gets you about everything you want, or everything that you need to have versus the looks you're going to see. Okay. This first one right here. All right. So the concept generally is this. We split the field into 2 lanes. Okay. So from the top of these numbers all the way down to the sideline, this right here you would call is lane 1.
Okay.
All right. It's very crude. All right. So from the hash to the top of the numbers, we would call lane 2. All right. That's on both sides. You have 1 over here, 2 right there. Okay. All right. So when we call the choice concept, we'll just talk about the outside one today. So choice in lane 1 is what we would say. This first concept is going to be a mirror deal. So the choice guy is going to be on the outside. Okay. All right. So this outside guy on the left and outside guy on the right, they're both going to have a choice route in lane 1. And I tell people all the time when we talk about this, these guys, these routes are easy. Anybody's kids can do these. We have 4 choices for them in that route on the outside. So that's not that hard. The hardest route is this inside guy. okay? He has what we call a bury, B-U-R-Y, a bury and protect route, okay? Because he's responsible for making sure it stays one-on-one out here on the outside. All right, so his job is to keep everything that's in this lane 2 here inside of him. Okay, so he'll always try to outside release this overhang and keep this safety inside of him so that, again, he's keeping it one-on-one out there. All right. Now, in doing that, he's always going to have his eyes on this safety because that's ultimately who he's going to be responsible for, is to bury the safety. He's going to feel and protect this overhang, outside linebacker, nickel, whatever you want to call him. He's got to kind of feel him with his eyes on that safety. Now, if either one of these guys leave lane 2 for 1, now he's getting the ball. He becomes a one-on-one, all right? So let's say this guy right here crosses his face on the snap. All right, well, he's just going to replace his grass and kind of curl up right there and throttle. Other way around, let's say this safety kicks off the hash to 1. Now, instead of him going to be under control and trying to feel that overhang and keep that safety inside of him, once he sees that flash to get over top of him, now I'm replacing the high grass instead of the low, okay? So either way, he knows if one of these guys right here that's in lane 2 crosses his face to go to lane 1, he's going to take their grass, replace it, okay? Now, obviously, if none of that happens, I've done my job and I buried this guy, all right? And you'll see this, what's this going to look like right here. You just kind of feel on that and burying it. That's what we want to have go down. It's him keep the nickel inside right there. Safety's inside of him. He gets 10 to 12. Wraps. Keeps those guys isolated. All right. Now, the choice guys, and in this call right here, it's mirrored, so both outside guys have it. They have 4 choices, but they have really 2 depending on where they win. So if I win on the outside, all right, if I win, this guy down here is actually doing it wrong. It's good practice tape. All right, so let's say we're at the top right here. And I won on the outside. I'm getting this zone turn, this cushion. I'm going to just do what we call run back. I'm going to run right back where I came from. He can throw me down here anywhere he wants to. All right. If I win on the outside and I'm getting man turn or no turn, which is what's happening down here, I have to keep going. All right, I have to keep going. We'll get a lot of guys that want to sit that down or force it and predetermine. And that's ones that get picked off right there. So if I went on the outside man turn, keep going. I went on the outside zone turn, sit it down. If I was to win on the inside, I would have a post or dig conversion. Okay, so right here, what's happening? The guy at the top, he's winning on the outside, gets his zone turn, run back where I came from. All right, again, that guy at the bottom down there, 16, he should be taking off. Let's see if we can get us another look. Same thing, different way. Now we're going to free release this tight end, and it is going to be truly mirrored. He's going to have the same thing. No rules change for him when he gets out. So he's got to protect this overhang and bury this safety. You'll see him feel that. You see both these guys, they don't necessarily want to avoid this contact. They don't want to get the hell knocked out of them and rerouted. But we want to initiate that contact because as long as he's got his hands on me, he can't get out up underneath number 1.
Yeah.
You see both guys getting rerouted, both getting zone turned. We should run straight back down where he came from. All right. And again, this is one where, yeah, it'd be great if he's doing this poorly. If he can get out of this, But I can promise you right now, that guy at the top, his hips are about like mine. So, obviously you'll get a bigger bonus from the guy that can really get through his hips, but
yeah,
it doesn't have to be. Like I said, this kid down here, he's fast as all hell. All right, so some of the ones where it's going to get a little bit tricky. All right. So again, we talked about still same play and everything. This release of number 2. All right, release of number 2. As he gets through here, and anytime he ducks inside, I guess I'm skipping a lot of points. So, man, you got me talking receiver, and I should be telling you the reads for the quarterback too. Huh? Okay, so the quarterback's read, and this is going to be pretty standard in the whole offense, even through RPOs and everything. He's responsible for the weak or boundary safety to the release in lane number 2. Okay? So he's always going to go away from this boundary safety and then see how the release of number 2 is happening. And what I mean by that is if he sees number 2, like right here, number 2 releases inside. When he releases inside, what he's saying is this guy is playing outside of me. He's playing to get up on our top or get underneath number 1, throw me the ball. All right. So that information right there is telling him I got to get it now. Probably this is a hell of a throw and catch, but the only way we want to undercut right there is if this overhang gets his shoulders completely square to me. All right. You see right there, he's still squared a line of scrimmage, so we get away with one. But again, that's kind of how the quarterback processes the information, where he's going to throw it to the inside guy, even though it's choice to 1. Once, normally in 4 verts, again, you tell that guy if he releases inside, you're dead, you're never getting it. Well, for us, if you release inside, that's the only time you're getting it. So if he releases inside on the lane 2 right there, then he's telling the quarterback someone shot up across my face, give me the ball. All right, so same look here. We'll stack it. Again, good little concept there. We'll stack it. Same rules apply. The only difference we have is when we stack, and you'll see again when we switch. So this is actually, I think the back guy. No, this would be the point guy's running it right here. When we switch, that's the edge. Okay? So he doesn't necessarily have to expand all the way back out there to those numbers. All right, so our tight end comes here.
Now,
this is a good look of. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now, out of this, how does stacking affect everything for you? Because obviously you're not necessarily getting the same initial clear out that you would by 2, but it's cluttering the read for the corners at the same time.
Yeah, what it does for you too is it gives you some predictable things. So, like, what we would say is who's pointing the stack. So if you do get somebody pointing the stack, if it's the corner, he's making the decision for you. All right. He's telling you you're going to stay vertical and you have to outside release as is. If it's the overhang coming here to point you and the corner softens up on the outside, probably going to end up setting it down. So it helps you make the reads a little bit better too.
Okay.
And then what we would say, like I said, I've done stacking guys for a long, long time now. Is the initial reason was you can't press both of them.
Yeah.
So if you want to come up and press this guy right here, and I'll make this my best guy, we'll get a free release of somebody.
Okay.
Again, you talk about the Berry route. This is a good one where that high grass is going to come free, and you can see the guy actually doing it. He's throttled to feel this guy and keep his eyes on that safety. And once he sees that safety leave his grass, boom, replace it. And as soon as you clear, he's looking for ball. So again, and I can see how a lot of people would say, this is just good old 4 verts, but there'll be some conversions of it. But that's him replacing the high grass right there. All right, so very easy to get through a lot of different formations with it as far as it's a concept that we can get at anything. We can do it from 12. Again, this is 10 personnel with the back out here and empty. It'll go a lot of different ways with it. All right, so what we've got here is we're going to switch it to the top. So we're going to say number 3 is actually going to have the choice in lane number 1. We'll just put him a curl flat or whatever we got over here, usually a cover 3 beater. Same read, we're going away from this weak side safety, hitting to the release of number 2. All right, so right here he's going to miss it, but you can see boundary safety stays put, or weak side safety stays put. Our release of number 2 is actually going to be this outside receiver. You'll see him come clean, all right? So he sees nobody in front of him, grass is taken, take off. So we should hit that guy, even though the choice is in lane 1 with number 3. But again, this is for us the same concept. He's responsible, this Barry, number 2 is going to be responsible for this first safety inside of 3. He would try to pick this nickel. If we're getting this, I don't know what everybody calls it, cover 7's what we call it, try or what. But that's how we should get to that one just about every time. And part of this is the timing of the quarterback, like right here, he's missing a step in his drop. A lot of times we're going to do this 11 personnel off of a play fake or a little token fake, so that way we can get in and out of there, but mainly for a timing mechanism. So right here, to replace that with an empty, he would need to step with that little cheat step with that left foot first. I'm sorry, with his right foot, because he's a left-handed kid. So he's getting there just a little bit quick. All right. We're not going to come down here to it, but this is the look of where, okay, we're switching. He's going to take over lane 2. Here comes my choice in lane 1. This overhang is going to cross my face. I want to throttle into this grass before I get to that safety.
Yeah.
All right, so as I see that cross and see the safety high, you can see him look, start to throttle and get that ball right there. Playing in a mud hole on this day.
Now, you mentioned, like, obviously you have to teach all the progressions to the receivers and how to adjust from a time standpoint there, but from your quarterbacks, how time-consuming is the actual read process and learning how to read these correctly so he doesn't make an errant throw at the same time?
Yeah, again, the progression system is the same throughout the entire offense. So we're always going to throw away from this weak safety. All right. Now, when we say throw away from him, he can still, like that last clip where he hit the tight end, he can progress out there, but he's, giving up his his lane. So we're always going to go away from that cat and replace where he's leaving from. From there, it's just a release of this number 2. So even if we're running cross instead of the deep choice stuff, how number 2 releases and cross is going to give us a lot of details of where we go next. Past that, he's got to see it the same way. So we watch a lot of film together, and so he knows how my guy is seeing it. And we'll actually stop and, I'll try to prompt him as best I can. I'm like, why did you throw it here? There's a good clip, I think, maybe the next one. And I kind of tell you how we discussed it. Let them talk to each other because they're going to be the ones that's doing it anyways. I can tell them what I see, and I usually do that at the end. It's like, all right, why did you throw it like this? Why did you break it like this? And then tell them how I see it so we get all 3 point of views where if we're all seeing it the same way, and it's really if we're seeing these safeties the same way, then we got a chance to be pretty good at it. But like this, I think this next clip, yeah, okay. So again, same concept. From the outside, I win. We get on top. You see our number 2 right there going to eat that guy up. Inside release and Barry. All right, so again, this is kind of the same way. Like, why did you throw it on the line right here, my man? This is a question we have. All right. He's going to say, well, I saw the corner on the outside, so I threw it to the inside. All right. where do you want him to throw it at? Number 11 down here. I want you to throw it deep. It's deep choice. Let's throw this up bitch deep. And they're going to look at me and blah, blah, blah. And we'll say, well, I'd rather throw it deep too. I'd rather score a touchdown. And so we talk about needing the stack and things like that. So at the end of the day, when we get to this happens the next time, where this kid's going to be a sixth-year senior, this kid's going to be a redshirt freshman, they're on the same page. You know what I mean? As long as they see that the same way, the result's going to be good for us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the things we talk about while we're meeting and meeting together is just making sure we're all seeing it the same way. And I'm more of a referee than I am anything else in that. It's like, why didn't you go deep, or why didn't you stop, or why didn't you go in, blah, blah. Well, this is what I saw. And then I referee and we sort it out. And that's, it's got us going pretty good. It takes a while. Like I said, it's not a cheap concept, but as we get through summer school and through camp, we should come out of it pretty good.
Okay.
And again, since it's a very versatile concept, we can do it through everything we do. And then once you start throwing in the switch tags, like there's a switch on this one at the top of the tight end. He's just got to square up a little bit sooner. But even there, you can see he's seeing zone turn. You see him sitting it down. So we're all doing this together, getting these reps. Now we're getting this concept a bunch of different ways. All right. So, but this right here, I'd say at the end of the day, this is how we're gonna call this the most. We're gonna gap it up and throw choice to one.
I don't think I ever actually asked you at the beginning of this what made you go to this concept.
Okay. Yeah, we're like I said, this is our deal right here as far as this is who we want to be. We want to be 11 personnel, split zone ISO. That's who we are. Running some gap schemes. We're going to RPO everything, right? So what we needed was a versatile enough passing game to carry an extension to this and not necessarily have to have 5 guys out in every route.
Yeah.
Our formation of personnel was going to dictate how the box was going to show up anyways. We didn't really need to stretch those guys. They're giving us field on the outside. We just need to make sure we're taking advantage of it. So like when I first got here, we ran 4 verts and we ran all curls, and we had 1 on the dig and 2 on the seam. A bunch of different concepts, and we would guess we would guess. And if we guessed right, we got a first down. If we guessed wrong, at worst, he was throwing the ball away, So this kept us from being, and it's kept us from being a play behind, from guessing.
Yeah.
Where we do all our teaching up front, so we're going to carry this concept from week 1 to the bowl game, hopefully, and it's not going to ever change. So the same decisions they're making in spring practice are the same ones they're making in December on ABC, So that's kind of how we're getting a lot of reps at it, getting a lot of carryover, and as we're getting into the second and the third year of doing it, we find that there's a lot of carryover, specifically with those guys that have been here.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, this was our base deal. If people wanted to pack in here to put 6, 7, 8 guys in there, we wanted to take advantage of one-on-ones out here. And this was our easiest way to do it.
Now I forget what you called it, but I call it a retracer.
We call it a run back.
There you go, a run back. How do you teach that to your kids, route-wise?
So we have it basically it's the same way we would run a hitch. Okay. And, you see a lot of these drills. For us, and you can see he's trying to do it right there. It's just wet as hell. So he's getting that left foot in the ground. It should be left, right, That's how we would, teach that as a break point, and then literally just run right back where you came from. The big thing is that foot that's getting in the ground has got to have enough power where I'm pitching off or pushing off the pitching rubber and literally getting right back where I came from. These kids all want to leak, and he's doing it right here some too. You can see he's a really good athlete, SEC transfer and all that stuff. So he can recover where some of these other guys can't.
Okay.
But yeah, we want to make sure that last step, and he doesn't get there perfectly, but that last step is, at least pointed in to where I can get my hips open a little bit sooner. And the reason we want to make sure he runs back like that is to our quarterback can feel like he can throw that thing out there no matter what, wherever he sees grass, even if that overhang is kind of playing through it late.
Yeah.
All right, so this is so those are first ones were like mostly quarters or 2 read or whatever. So as we get into some different conversions right here, we're getting cloud. All right, so at the point where it gets cloud, like we talked about, this cat's getting over top. The one-on-one's going to happen right here in lane 2. So he's going to try to get vertical and replace. What we should see out here is now turning into a dig, making dagger. Gotta catch it, but. So again, it's mirrored. It's the same one for us. We're just calling the choice in lane 1. You see them both. So again, when they went inside, their eyes, first thing they got to do is go to the safety. When I go to that safety right there, if he's gone, go to the post. If he's there, I'm winning inside. My other option is to dig.
Yeah.
You can see them both making it about the same time right there. We want to try to get as much speed as we can, high, low the overhang, check down in front of the Tampa. Just got to make a play, man. All right, so again, we're seeing some good raw spring practice stuff right here, man. All right, so my guy right here is thinking he's as a Barry guy, he's also the hot. All right, so right here he's thinking he's hot. He sees the stand-up and the overhang both coming. Well, in reality, he needs one more guy to go with him. All right, so he gets back on his horse. He's got to take the high part of the grass as that safety crosses his face. Shouldn't be so far in the middle. Needs to be more. Still tracking that inside shoulder of that safety, at least to 10. We throw a moon ball right there.
Yeah.
Some good old-fashioned. I bet you can see both the outside guys. They both release. See the safety, digging. I promise you right now, I love those guys. If those two right there can do it, anybody can do it.
And those digs are wide open too. That's the other beauty of that.
Yeah, I mean, because what do you want to call against cover 2? You want to call seam and dig, right?
Yeah.
And if the backer wants to get up underneath it, we got a check down coming. So we're not calling crazy plays. We're calling them at the right time.
Yeah.
That's been our thought process. So, again, I love it with a tight end like this, an inline, attached tight end, just because it brings that safety down, and whenever that happens, we have a chance to start getting that post throw, which all those guys we have can throw the post. Some of them struggle with that big boy ball on the outside, but the post they can all, for some reason, so, So we get the same thing right there. Our tight end doesn't need to collapse on that guy. He just needs to keep going. But his job, like I said, is to occupy that safety. My guy wins on the inside right there. Sees he's on the same level of that safety and closed hips. Just take it, man. Take the post. The quarterback can now throw me anywhere he wants to in there. we just say take an angle where you will never cross your own hash ever. So if that thing was to go across the world, you'd never cross it. And he can throw me in there as much as he wants, though. All right. So that kind of gets us all of our conversions right there. They have the run back, go win, go post, and cloud versus cover 2. Now, so once that's in, and once we've got the Barry route taught, we're rolling, man. Like we can just start playing now with whatever we want.
Okay.
So we start getting to, like I said, adding concepts together and switching up stems. So this is kind of the same deal, except for now we're going to go back again to have trips in the boundary. Number 3 has got my choice. The single guy has got his choice as well. Everyone else, we're trying to get them guys open. Same read now. Safety's chasing the 1. Get down to the short side. Release a 2. See, he's over top. He's getting the shit kicked out of him right there. Boom. Replace it.
Okay.
And again, this is same read for him. I hold on to it just a hair long, but again, I think it's one of these, we got to add a step to his drop. All right, we're going to get another switch. All right. Again, that one was from number 3. Now we're going to do it from the tailback. We'll just exchange roles with these guys. This tight end will now be in protection. So he'll have the same reads right there. The single's going to go buried to safety. You'll see corner chasing nothing in front of him. Hit those numbers like a ton of bricks. Just got to make a play. A good time, man. All right, so here's a little 3 plays. This is the same play 3 times in a row. Down here in the red zone, about the same spot. We're going to see it get to 3 different places.
Okay.
So this is switch to the tight end. The tight end's going to run the choice out here at number 1. He would have a choice out here as number 1 as well. All right, so these 2 guys really, depending on how it all plays out, these guys should never get the ball. Their job is, again, to clear out all that stuff. So he would have this backside safety. He's going to run his 40 time and play trash on the way to try to get this guy to take him. He's going to have this front side safety. All right. Now, in doing that, that's a bad drawing. In doing that, he's got to fill this guy along the way. All right. And still try to take and bury this safety. If you can see coming in here now, he should work across that guy's face. Instead, he goes over top. Tight end has the same read. He's going to get square as soon as those guys cross his face. Gets a man turn, got to keep going. Same look up there, boundary safety, weak safety, stays weak. You see my guy right there is winning to the inside. No post player, take the post. All that working out pretty well. All right, so here's same situation, same play, close to the same spot. It's a little bit colder that day, obviously. All right, so again, he's trying to outside release this guy right there and keep leverage on the safety. What you'll see is as he goes to get square and keep leverage on his safety's going to get over top. He's going to replace his grass.
Okay.
All right, so again, for the quarterback, same deal now. He's reading weak safety, stay weak, release of number 2. Right here, he becomes number 2. As I see him getting outside of that guy, ball. So we're pretty late right there, but he's wide open. right, so same play, another quarterback. Somehow it ends up being these two guys every time. Our safety works across right there. Now he's reading 3. You can see run line to him. Fight trash. Again, we probably still could have come down here. Safety reads 3 across. Win my one-on-one. Don't post box it was what they call it, I guess. Stick your hand up. Just run, man. But again, that kind of works out a little differently each time. Same play. But that's one for us. Again, it's been a pretty versatile little concept there.
Yeah. That's
as far as how we go about it. But yeah, I'd agree with you 100%. It does take some time to roll on it. You gotta invest in it if you want to get good at it. A lot of guys they've checked it out on CoachTube or whatever, and I've gotten nothing but really good feedback from just talking about how we burned the defense today, or we scored 5 touchdowns a day on this, that, and the other. But I think invariably what they all say, though, is because I'm teaching this so much, I don't have to do X, Y, Z. I don't have to add all these things because I'm getting them, man. Whatever the defense shows up in, I'm got my answer to.
Yeah, it's a variation of that since the evolution of the old run and shoot concept. Like if you get this, you get that. You get this, you get that.
Yeah.
Except for you've modified it to what you guys need for what you guys run. Like.
Yeah.
So.
Like I said, I think of it the base way we want to do it, and the most frequent way we will do it is an extension of our RPO game.
Okay.
In that whatever you're doing to take away our RPO game is going to allow us to run choice to number 1. And that's we have indicators and tells in our defense and how they're playing us and how they're trying to stop us. Boom, let's go to it right now. And you feel a little bit more confident. Yeah, it's deep choice. As you can see, most of the balls right there, too. Like, we don't have the expectation of, we're going to throw it deep every time. We're going to throw it to the right place every time, hopefully. And let that be the expectation of it.
That's perfect, Coach. Well, coaches, again, if you want to check out more of his stuff, him and his line coach have several courses on CoachTube. The link will be in the bio, so you can access all that. His Twitter will be below. Give him a follow. His clinic he did with Coach Bronk will be in the bio as well, so you can check that out as well if you want to check out more stuff he does. Make sure you check out our sponsors and affiliates as always. That helps the channel. Check out the Patreon as well. And thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that lovely stuff. And thank you for supporting the channel and watching our episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast.